Okay, today we are going to officially be going over the brand new Acqua di Gio Parfum. This is a brand new release, and this is basically replacing Acqua di Gio Profumo, which has been rumored to have been discontinued for some time now, and it has finally been made official. That one is being phased out. You can still pick it up at discounters here and there, but they're not making it anymore. Instead, they're bringing out the Parfum. And hindsight is 2020, but going into that, we had no idea what was going to happen. Acqua di Gio Profumo is one of my favorite fragrances of all time on the designer side. You can look all the way back to the very beginning of my channel. Been saying that since the beginning. I've loved that stuff forever. Now for me, I have enough backup bottles to actually last a lifetime. So while it would suck to see it go, personally, I would be okay. That doesn't mean everyone is in that situation, though. A lot of people who maybe made that their signature scent but didn't want to spend $1,000+ to get a bunch of backup bottles, they would probably be pretty upset if that were to go away. And so this one came out. I checked it out live on this channel. You can watch the first impressions video, and I was very excited and happy to report that this smells very similar to Profumo. I could only go over so much in that video because it was my first time trying it, and so today we're back. I'm going to basically walk you through the whole thing here, and most notably we'll touch on the performance, which obviously I couldn't provide input on when I was first trying it because I had no idea how it was going to perform. Been wearing it for weeks now, pretty consistently. It's been working really well here in the summer heat, and now I can kind of tell you what I'm getting performance-wise and any other thoughts that I kind of have formed over the past several weeks. And another interesting thing, this is now available at retailers, so if you want to go out and pay full retail for it, I think Armani's official website here in the US has it. I think Saks Fifth Avenue has it as well. I got mine from Fragrance By. They were the first to bring this to the US and Canada market, so they got it in at a discounter at a discount price before it was even available at retail. Right now, it's sold out. It happens, it goes quick. If you sign up to my mailing list at the first link down below and or you send a text to the number down below, as soon as this comes into stock for a price below retail, I'll send you a notification and you'll be able to pick it up. Same goes for anything else that might be hard to find, rare, discontinued, a good deal, etc. So let's start off with how this one smells. It's really hard to mistake the fact that this is Profumo. When you first spray it on, the second you smell it, if you have any sort of experience with Acqua di Gio Profumo, you will be able to connect the two immediately. It opens up with that kind of green, aquatic, fresh, sea notes type of smell. Now, one thing that I called out and noticed pretty much right away in my first impressions video, and that I'll kind of reiterate now, the grassy green opening that exists in Profumo is dialed back substantially here. And that's another thing that I've been very vocal about over the past 6 years is I don't like the opening of Profumo all that much. I really don't. In fact, I spray it on and I don't really start enjoying it until I get about an hour into the scent. That dry down is magic. The opening, not so much for me. I don't like that grassy green smell. It's quite potent in Profumo. In this one, they really kind of pretty much solved that issue. It's much more smooth right off the initial spray, and I'm talking like spray and then smell it right away, considerably more smooth off the top. And that's really a nice bonus. A couple other things you'll notice here. When you start working into the mid and dry down, still smelling like Profumo, but they're supplementing some notes. So instead of incense and patchouli like in Profumo, you're getting some kind of olibanum and patchouli here in this one. And so they're just kind of supplementing that note out. They're bringing in just a little bit more of that geranium, a little bit more of the rosemary and some of the aromatics, kind of bumping that up to make this one in line with the Eau de Parfum, which also uses and relies on the aromatics heavily, and they kind of tweak it there. So some things kind of change, but it still has some of that smokiness. Ultimately, it still has this kind of nighttime, mysterious, upscale, classy type of edge to it that I really don't get from any other aquatic on the market. Now, when I'm kind of looking around and thinking of some aquatics that kind of can do a similar thing, I can maybe say something like Tom Ford Costa Azura, but it doesn't have a nighttime feel. Costa Azura is actually even more of a marine, not even aquatic, so that's not even the best comparison there, but I'm kind of just trying to think, okay, what are some very mature evening time, kind of smoky, summer night scents. There just aren't too many out there that does it like this DNA. And so that's why for years now, Profumo has remained as one of my favorites. And so I'm glad that they're carrying that over here, and I don't think that they did the wrong thing by tweaking it. In fact, I think that was very beneficial to the scent as a whole. I just simply look at Acqua di Gio Parfum as a refreshed version of Profumo. Keep in mind, Profumo's been out for a long time now. What is it, 2015 release or something like that? I can't remember for sure, something like that. And so, you know, going on 10 years, I think it was due for a little refresh, a little update, and I'm glad that they did it this way. And another thing that I've mentioned a few times in passing here and some lists and stuff when I've been featuring the new Parfum is simplification of the Acqua di Gio lineup. I mean, it's not really hard to notice that they have accumulated a lot of different flankers over the years, some of which now no longer being produced, others of which still going strong. And so as an outsider, someone who isn't into the community, they walk into a department store, they're going to be overwhelmed. So I think it is smart that they're bringing this in as a Parfum. Now they're listed off as ADT, ADP, and Parfum. Now to be fair, Profumo is a Parfum as well, but it wasn't marketed in that way. It's much more simple now, and you can kind of look at it as what level of intensity do you want? They're making it easy for the non-fragrance enthusiast. If you want something really light, go with the EDT. It's been around for 20 plus years. It'll work. If you want something that is, you know, a little bit moderate in the middle, more aromatic, the Eau de Parfum's great. If you want something that is going to be the strongest, the richest, kind of the smokiest, the most mysterious, the Parfum's the way to go. I think it is smart. And we'll talk about that performance here. Again, Parfum to Parfum, it's pretty much on par with Profumo, and I'm happy to report that as well. And that's another thing that I was kind of wondering about. And another thing is, over the years, Profumo has been reported to have been reformulated, and so I talk about getting great performance out of Profumo all the time. A lot of my bottles were purchased earlier on. I have purchased some newer ones, and I didn't really have an issue with those in performance-wise, but I know a lot of people do, and so I think this might solve your problem. Remember, they're not just taking Profumo, the same exact juice, and changing the bottle. The scent itself is slightly different, like they are tweaking it, and if you smell them side by side, you will definitely notice. If you're someone like me who has smelled it for years, you'll notice not even having to smell them side by side. So it isn't the exact same scent. And with that, I do think they have gone in and, I guess, increased the performance. If it is true that newer bottles of Profumo were weak, to me, on my skin, this one definitely is not weak. So if you were having issues with Profumo not performing all that well, the new Parfum should fix that for you. It's also important to note that skin chemistry plays a role, and so maybe aquatics just historically don't work well on you. Generally, they work pretty well on my skin. It just depends. And so what is that performance metric? I've been getting every bit of 9 hours out of this, a little bit more, kind of right on par. It just depends on the environment, depends on how many sprays, and so on. And for me, Profumo has always hit that benchmark as well. It'll go over sometimes, but it's always done very well consistently. It's not one of those deals where, oh, I got, 10 hours out of it one time and everything else was 7. This and Profumo have always been consistent performers for me and well above average considering the general aquatic DNA style is significantly lower. You're talking, 5 or 6 hours on average, sometimes even less. So I really can't complain there. Now, in terms of projection, again, we're talking Parfum concentration. Usually, distance-wise, they will sit closer to the skin, but they'll leave a heavy trail. And it's the same thing here with this one. I'm not getting a ton of distance out of it unless I were to go super heavy on the sprays, which I don't have a need to do. If you want to get distance, that would be the way you would do it. Hit yourself with a lot of sprays. But if you're just doing a modest 4 sprays or something, it's going to sit closer to the skin, but you will find that it leaves a very heavy and strong trail. You can walk into a room, walk back out, and that scent is going to be lingering in there for quite a while. And personally, that's why I like Parfums so much. That's why it's my favorite concentration. I like that style of wearing experience. I think it is more interesting to me. I don't know why. I just think that it's kind of cool that your scent is just going to be hanging out in there even after you've left the entire building and drive down the road. So performance, I can't complain at all. Really good. Quality-wise, it is a great quality scent. I don't think they cut any corners with this one. It still is what I would expect from Giorgio Armani, which at the end of the day is a relatively premium designer brand. Yeah, maybe they're not on the level of Chanel, or, you know, you really go crazy and start comparing them to Tom Ford or something. I'm not saying that, but they hold their own in the space, and they do pump out great quality products for the price, especially at discounted prices. What are my issues with the scent? It's less with the scent and more with the presentation. Again, with simplification of the line also comes tightening of the budgets, squeezing that money out. And so you will notice that now we no longer get a magnetic cap. It's a snap cap, and that has been that way since, you know, the Eau de Parfum and things like that, Profondo. Nothing new, but it also, you're paying more for the more premium kind of parfum version of the line, and they're still not giving that to you. And you also don't get the little plaque at the bottom as well anymore. It'll just be easier for me to show you. So here's just a good old bottle of Profumo. You get this plastic little silver piece on the bottom, which doesn't do a whole lot, honestly, but it does add just a little bit of a contrast. It's a cool little plate. And of course, you get a true magnetic cap on these, whereas with the new one, no plate and a snap cap. It's not a big deal, but they are obviously doing that for a reason. The less moving parts you have, the more money you make. And that little plate down there, I'm sure, is probably saving them a lot of money. And so it is what it is. That's my only issue that I can come up with, really. It's presentation based. Atomizer is the same, nothing amazing. They're not like the Dior atomizers or anything, but they do the job fine. A scent character-wise and everything else, I don't have any issues there because it is still the beloved Profumo, just updated and, quite frankly, in some ways, maybe even a bit better. I mean, I love the original Profumo. You know, this DNA is amazing, but that opening is rough, and it is fixed here with the Parfum. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me. Acqua di Gio Parfum, full review. It's been a while since I've done full reviews on the new releases. I just feel like a lot of times they get covered in lists, and then it becomes redundant. Maybe people don't want to click on them. But we are in the middle of summer. Maybe you've been on the fence, and maybe that'll help you get over the fence on one way or the other with the new Parfum. Sure, for some, it might be redundant if you have Profumo. Totally understandable. Burn through your bottle of Profumo, switch over to this when you're done. If you don't have Profumo, you've been wanting to get it, you could make the jump over to the Parfum if you wanted to. It just depends on what type of deal you can get. And again, speaking of deals, if you want to have any sort of chance of grabbing this one below retail, hit the first link down below, sign up to that mailing list, and send a text to the number down below. That is 2 ways that you will get a notification delivered straight to your phone when this one pops up for like $125 or so for this size bottle. You can't really go wrong with that price, and it does sell quick. And also stuff like Dior Homme Parfum, La Nuit Bleu Electrique, things like that, I'm on the lookout for. They pop up with some sort of regularity, and each time they do, I send out an email and a text. So get on the lists, and you won't regret it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.